doing a second video with Dylan at Magickal Chameleons. We passed the torch. We have a bunch of eggs from this beautiful lady right here, and he's going to show us his egg setup.
Hi, I'm Dylan. I'm with Magickal Chams. As Lena said, I took over their breeding project, and I'm continuing to expand that breeding project with the Panther Chameleons.
Oh, and if you want to show them your card, so that if someone wants a Panther Chameleon in the near future.
So when I have the eggs hatch, I will be selling them via Instagram, via Facebook. Look for this logo, Magickal spelled with a CK, and then Chams, C-H-A-M-S. And then, yeah, we can contact through there and speak through there. And then if we need to text or have a phone call, that's great too. So I can give you a tour of all the chameleons if you'd like. First chameleon that is our male amblobe, Osiris, that I received from LA Chameleons. He is a gorgeous little dude. He's about 8 months old. He just recently started getting all of his colors, and you know, right now he's very green, blue, and red, and then he'll just turn bright yellow, lime green, and yellow. Or did I say yellow twice? And orange and red.
He's very yellow.
He's very rainbowy, huh? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Nice spread of...
And he's super sweet. Like he's like looking. He's like, wait, can I come out? Not afraid of the camera. He'll like even try to climb on the camera.
Yeah, we have a bunch of pictures of him on Instagram. He was one of our last babies from the clutch of Stardust or Star-Lord and Gamora.
Yeah. And it's exciting too. What I was saying was that he's really friendly because hopefully the babies will have that same personality trait.
Yeah.
You know, you just get a chameleon that's just like hisses at you and you can't hold it, and then you just don't feel that attachment with it.
Yeah.
And yeah, so
these guys are really nice, and that's his brother over there. You can see the colors of the cover. He's the oldest one from my clutch, but they're really rainbowy.
Cool. Looks cool with the painting in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, I'll take you over this cage setup. Essentially what I have is 2x2x4. It's 2 feet by 2 feet by 4 feet. And I have, I believe these are all, this is organic moss vine, and then some of the other vines attached to the side of the cage with the little twist ties that you would use at the grocery store to tie up your bags of veggies and stuff. And then I created a humidity pocket by suspending plastic pots in here, the cheap ones that you can get at Home Depot, and then getting live plants and putting them inside these. Now plants like kind of perspire in certain ways, and what that does is it allows humidity to be trapped in here, as well as from the soil.
Doubles?
Yeah, that way if they're like, you know, I kind of have experimented with other plants. Like I know pothos is great, Dracaena is great, but if I want to throw another plant in here, like and try to create, you know, more of a vivarium or anything like that, you know, sometimes they don't work out. So that allows me to pull them out and not have to reattach them. And, you know, it's a matter of, oh, hey, this plant's dead. Okay, boom, pull it out, throw it away, or try to revitalize it, and then put a new plant in there.
Nice.
And then I created the background with a piece of plywood. I got great stuff, expandable foam. You can get that like Home Depot or Lowe's. And then once that expanded and dried, I cut it, cut holes for the pots, and then put on aquarium grade silicone on top of that cocoa husk and moss. And that allows them to climb on the back. It kind of creates more humidity because when the plants are misted, the substrate holds onto the water and creates humidity.
Nice.
So, yeah, and then I also have, speaking of misters, I have a Mist King. This is a game changer. I've had this particular setup, this one Mist King system, I think for like 3 years now, and it's still working. So it's expensive, but it was worth it because now I don't have to remember, not that I forget about them, but I don't have to come in here and miss them for 5 minutes a day, you know, and they get misted when I'm at work, so I don't ever have to think about like, oh, hey, is my chameleon getting enough water?
Well, humidity is always an issue, and having enough water is always an issue.
Yeah, especially with screen
important.
cages.
So important.
Yeah. Screen cages, you have to have those for Panther chameleons, especially because they have sensitive respiratory systems. So if you put them in a glass enclosure, all that stagnant air is extremely bad for them.
Yeah.
So next on our tour, we have Dahlia, which we kind of gave a little bit of a introduction. She is the dam to a lot of the eggs that are incubating at the moment. She's an ambelobe, just like Osiris, and she's also very friendly.
Yeah.
Like I just put my hand there and she comes out. She knows she's getting filmed. Like I said, she's really flirty.
Oh, she is so flirty. Yeah, she definitely
babe.
works it for the camera.
Hey, girlfriend.
So these are gravid colors, meaning she won't mate with another male right now, which is most likely suggesting that she's producing eggs. Since she has been bred in the last few months, there's a chance that she's still held on to some of the male stuff.
Yeah, male stuff.
And I don't know what the scientific term for it is. I don't want to be weird. Wait, was that weird? Is that not saying weird?
Yeah.
So she might have more, fertile eggs, which is exciting. If not, then I'm going to try to breed her with Osiris in the next few months. So,
This little face. That's me.
So yeah, and then another thing about these cages, I have usually I keep the bottoms bare because if they go into the bottom and they get a piece of dirt or they sell that reptile bark that's really thick. If they eat a piece of that, it could impact them, which essentially kills them. Because they can't pass it through their digestive system. So I found a good quality astroturf, which is like an artificial grass where I tried pulling out the grass and it doesn't come out very easily. And that's been working. And that kind of makes it look a little prettier too. So then this is a female that I've had that I got at a reptile show in January, and her name is Sage. She is also an ambelobe.
She's very
Shy,
receptive right now.
shy sage.
Yeah, we're gonna try breeding her with Osiris's eldest brother, Stardust, the one that you guys saw on the little branch earlier. Yeah, that guy. So we might have babies for those two coming soon, or eggs coming soon. Baby won't be for another
Yeah.
For a while.
Yeah.
Long enough to forget
It
about.
takes about 9 to 10 months for the eggs to gestate.
Yeah. So another thing that I would suggest doing if you go with the nesting system is, where's all that water going? Some of it's going in the pots, some of it is going, into the leaves. They're drinking some of it, but there's a lot of excess water. Where's that going? So what I did was I put these cages on little cement bricks. And then for Osiris, it actually made a thing, but you could also put it on cement bricks. But essentially what I did is I drilled I used coroplast instead of using the bottoms that came with it. So this is the stuff you would see for what am I trying to say? Vote for Governor Joe, and then you would see that sign in somebody's yard.
Oh, yeah.
And then, so it's just it's kind of hollow, and you can easily cut it with scissors or a razor blade. And then I'll use a razor blade to cut a circle in the middle, put a drain, and then attach the drain on the bottom of all three of these. So that way it pulls down all the water. The plant in the center of each cage, kind of siphons funnels the water to a certain area, and then it comes down here through the pipes into a bucket. So that way I could just get rid of the nasty water when it's that time. And that way too, it's you don't have a lot of stagnant water sitting in the cages, because stagnant water can definitely promote things like mosquitoes and other things that are a pain in the butt if you have them in your apartment.
Right. One last thing about the what's this?
Oh yeah, I forgot about these. So these are camo feeding cups by Full Throttle Feeders.
Say that 10 times fast.
Full Throttle Feeders. So Nick Barta is the guy who invented these. It's a real simple design. It has a screen on the bottom. It's a piece of pipe. There's a piece of screen here. Essentially, I put the feeders in here, my dubias, I put my crickets in there, my hornworms, silkworms, whatever. And what this does is it centralizes the feeders so they don't go and hide in the corners of the cages, especially dubias. And then they can't climb up the slick surface of the pipe. And then they just climb up this screen. And then the crickets can't jump off and the dubias can't hide. So that way, Sage can get in there and just, eat what she wants. And then that way, you know, they're not crawling on her at night and biting her when she's sleeping if I accidentally put too many. Yeah, and then that way I also know she's eating, you know, because they're not going to escape. That's also important, like if you have a chameleon that you're worried about is sick, for example, and you don't know if they're eating, that's a good way to do it, you know?
Yeah.
And a good way to see like other things too. So I believe when they are gravid, sometimes they will stop eating before they lay, right? Or am I wrong?
No, you're right. Yeah, right before they lay, they'll oftentimes their appetite will go down and they won't eat as much or eat at all for a day, and then they'll try to climb out of their cage a lot. Those are 2 signs, and then also eggs pressing against the side of their belly.
So that's what I'm probably gonna end up moving. Osiris is in here, but I got another one coming in the mail. I just didn't know if I wanted to order 2 or 3. So I'm gonna move Osiris is over here so I can kind of keep an eye on that and watch for her to climb out of the cages. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. You know, if you have any questions about cages.
Oh, the incubator, you're gonna show us.
Oh, yeah, right.
There's so much to show.
I have right now. I have 148 eggs that are
Dun, 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 dun.
that are working and you know
Anyway.
all healthy still. So I got them all in here. Yeah. So I think the earliest ones were laid like in was it June or a little before that?
Yeah, it's got to be around June.
So, something I get really anal with my incubator is I'll usually have a temperature gauge inside and at the top and the bottom, so I can see if there's a gradient, see if the circulation's going, and I might have taken it out.
Oh.
But yeah, typically I always put something. I've put something inside so that you know, whatever that the temperature that the unit is showing is right or wrong, so I can tell. You know.
Those are your eggs, buddy. Those are from you.
That's a lot of good work.
Oh.
Hey, he knows.
he's
He's like,
excited.
hey, there's my
Nice
kids.
job.
There it is. All right, hold on. Wait till March.
Yeah. So.
And this guy is our wild caught from Zimbabwe.
Yeah, this one here, Machu Picchu.
From Madagascar directly.
He's a big boy.
He's a big.
He's got to be the biggest chameleon
big
we've ever seen.
Dude, yeah.
Oh man, he's
Huge.
He's ginormous. He's like he's almost he's like should we put him next to Stardust just to kind of
Yeah,
like
The comparison.
So every chameleon that I've owned for the last 10 years has been about the size of Stardust.
Yeah.
He's good
But
size.
you can just see how massive Machu is compared to Stardust.
Yeah. Although Stardust is
Maybe
trying to show
put
off
him a
his
little
full...
closer to this. Yeah. There we go.
Watch
So,
out,
big
watch out,
difference. Yeah. Oh, they're all red and fiery. They're like bunkmates, man. So don't be too worried at home.
Yeah.
So, you know, they're used to it. I don't know why they're so angry.
Yeah, we don't place bets and have chameleon fights.
So just so we get that out of the way, we clear the air on that one.
So yeah, check out Magickal Chams on Instagram. It's Magickal with a K.
CK.
CK.
Yeah.
But there is a kid.
Okay.
There's also a C.
Magickal as in M-A...
Gichal.
Okay.
You got it? You got that?
Well, because people will be like, oh, with a K, okay, so they don't put the C, but it's CK.
Oh,
So
yeah.
magical with
Make
CK.
sure to include both.
Magic and then
Both are equally as important.
K-A-L.
Boom.
Yeah.
All right. Nailed
Okay.
You
it.
got it.
Magickal Chams, Facebook, and Instagram.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome, guys.
There you go.
Okay.
Cool.